Hi, everybody. Just waiting while everything loads. I hope you have all had a good weekend. If you are watching this on a replay, make sure you tell me in the comments that you're watching it on replay. If you're watching live, hi, tell me what you're knitting on. There we go. We'll give everybody just a couple minutes to come on. Oh, my watch is telling me that I'm live. In case I don't know, I better mute that. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Hi, Mom. We had sort of two Thanksgivings. We had my folks and my mother-in-law over for lunch, and then the rest of my in-laws over for dinner. Luckily, they're low-key and casual enough that they didn't mind us saying, make yourself a plate of leftovers and put it in the microwave. Hey, Holly watching as your husband drives from Glasgow. Awesome. Hi, everybody. Barbara, Stacy, Angie, Mercina, Nicole, Terry, Holly, Chris. Shar working on a baby Afghan. Is that with the stuff that we sent with the gray? I hope you're liking how it's turning out. Jackie, finished your shawlography. Yay! Hi, Vicki. Give everybody just another minute or two to pop on. I hope you all had a good weekend. Mine was pretty uneventful, I guess. We finally went and got our tree. Well, I mean, we had Black Friday and Small Business Saturday in there. Maybe that's why I can't remember anything. Hi, E. Oh, good, Shar. I'm glad you like it. They're going to have to send me a picture so I can see it. All right, it is 7 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. Hi, Diane. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I am the owner of the Little Yarn Shop in downtown Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SVRC Marketplace. Marketplace hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you joined late, let me know what you're working on. I always like to hear what people have going on. And if you're watching this on a replay, just be sure to put in the comments that you're watching it on a replay so I know. Sarah's about to start Tom Rock's hat too. Yes, Melissa says my weekend was amazing because I got to see her. I did get to see and hang out with some people, Nicole and Melissa, people I don't normally get to really just sit down and visit with. So between the chaos of Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, at least I had a little downtime. Joyce. And you got to meet Bev. Yes, and Bev got to meet the Melissa. Deb, working on it couldn't be easier. Awesome. I think that one's going to be a good, quickie gift for people. Mary, just lipstick in general. I decided maybe it's time I put some foundation on and then I looked like I was dead. So I figured maybe I better put some lipstick on. Julie finished cable trellis. Awesome. That was the cowl, right? Because the hybrid knit along is for the shawls. Okay, so that's who I am and where I am. What am I wearing? I am wearing something that E, or you'll see her on there as Elaine, will think is very familiar. This was my very first, my very first Ranunculus sweater that I made. The pattern is very versatile. The pattern picture looks terrible. I'm going to show you guys a couple different versions because E was nice enough to bring in a lot of the tops that she has made. You can see how the pattern can be modified. My version and a lot of E's are fingering weight yarn, but you pretty much universally use, I think it's size 10 needles, so it goes fast. This one that I'm wearing took like 1.5 skeins of sock yarn. The yarn is Brenda and Heather's self-striping sock yarn, which you can see if you look at the sleeves. So if you knit a sock, that's kind of what you would get, is that look. Mine does need to be reblocked, and it's short, obviously. It's short. But the beauty of this pattern is it's top down. You can knit the sleeves as long as you want. You can knit the body as long as you want. It's supposed to be more oversized. Like, here's one of the ones he did. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't look like sock yarn. It doesn't look, I mean, obviously you'd have to wear some sort of cami or something. I just have a tank top on under mine. But it's such a great piece. So that's one that he did. Yeah, Melissa said it has over 10,000 projects. It is a popular one because once you get it going, here's another one he did. So it has, I'm not sure if you can see, a little bit of texture up at the top. Probably the trickiest thing about this whole pattern is that it recommends a provisional cast on, which is not easy to do on a neckline because you're casting on, the way they have you do it, you cast on half the stitches. So it's just this little tiny thing until you get a couple rows in. So that was her wool and silk one. This one is done out of, she got two that she did out of the bamboo pop sock yarn, which is, I want a bunch of these for the summer. It's so light and drapey. So it's bamboo and cotton, wool free. Again, as it's sock yarn, you can see on the sleeves what it would look like, but I think that gives it character. Yeah, here's her black and gray one in the bamboo pop sock. A lot of people have heard me say, I very rarely will knit the same thing more than once, but I have made 3 of these and am talking about making more. So that was half of them. For those who joined late, these are the Hito Fude. These all do not belong to me. They're Elaine's that she loaned to me. I wanted to put them on mannequins and take photos. I did not get that far. It's been a little busy. Here's another one. This is out of Smushy Cashmere. Cinnamon Girl is the color. So you can really see that pattern in the solid yarn. But I love this. I mean, you can go on Ravelry and essentially do the same thing I'm doing now. Look through other people's projects, see how different yarns look, different styles, get ideas about sleeve length. She did a striped one. This was done, the variegated is Malabrigo Myths. It was one that they had come out with last year for their Temperance Shawl knit along. Julie made one for Kelly. I didn't know Julie made one of these. I made one for Victoria in Harry Potter colors. It's too small for her now. Maybe I could block the heck out of it and wear it for myself. One more. Actually, I have one more after this that's not quite finished, but still. Isn't that gorgeous? More dreaming color. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? And you're going to be wearing cashmere and silk. Why not? This last one is still in progress, but you can see how neat it looks. This is with one of those Zauberball crazy. So they come in that little ball that's all wound funky. Look how neat that looks. Like I said, that one's still in process. But so in looking at this, you cast on at the neckline. She's got her sleeves on waist yarn, so she can go back and decide how long she wants the sleeves to be. The body's still on a cable, so she could just keep knitting if she's got the yarn and the desire. Diane, the orange one was smushy with cashmere in the color Cinnamon Girl. I just got more of that color in because it's one that I used in my shawlography, and I wanted to have sample colors available. Hi, Lisa. Okay. Melissa says I'm good on sound, so that's good. Oh, I don't like it when other people have problems hearing me. That's not good. So, ranunculus. I do have one in the shop that is done out of Malabrigo worsted. If I've got time at the end, I'll run over there and show all of you. So that's what I'm wearing, what I finished, sort of what I finished. My felted cat cocoon. Look at this. It's felted, sort of. So clearly it's not as sturdy as I would like it to be. And like I told you guys last week, I haven't felted a lot. So I don't know. I didn't know how far I should go, but I consulted with Deb before she started her drop-in class outside. And we came to the conclusion you shouldn't be able to see my lines. You can't see any of the V's, but you do still see lines, rows of stitching, or columns, I guess. So this bad boy will have to go back into the washer. Turns out I didn't have any laundry bags at home. And so I Googled it, and on Very Pink Knits, she said to use, if you had like a zippered pillowcase. I didn't have one of those either. So my washer was a bit of a mess. But I came in here and realized I do have laundry bags here, and I probably should have some at home. These are some that we sell here in the shop. It comes with a large bag and a small bag for $6.99. So I need to take some of those home. Sarah, a pillowcase. I tried to use one that wasn't a zipper pillowcase, and it came flying right out of there. So my only hesitation with refelting this or trying to felt it more is it took 3 days to dry, and that was sitting next to the pellet stove. But that's okay. So that's sort of done. Hopefully next week I'll have one that's got a little bit more stability to it. What am I working on? The cat cave. Yes, all the kitties need one. So it does call for feltable wool, obviously. 1,000 to 1,200 yards. I used 6 skeins of just a worsted weight. I used Malabrigo worsted, and then what's the other one? Universal Yarn has like their version of Cascade 220. Tammy, you have to tie the pillowcase. Go pin it shut with safety pins. Oh, you guys are so smart. So apparently, if you don't have a zipper on your pillowcase, you can do things like use a sock to tie it up, Stacy said. Sarah said she pinned it with safety pins. Tammy said you have to tie it closed. It was one of those king size pillowcases too. So I thought, well, if I just twist the top, it'll be fine. Clearly I didn't have all of you around to be able to give me more advice. So I am also working on, I cast on a new project. This is, and the pictures I think are hilarious. It's called the Elm Street Hoodie. So it's designed to look like apparently a hoodie that Johnny Depp wore in the very original Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is the designer too. Chase Harpole is the designer. But I just think as soon as I saw this pattern, I thought it looked very much like Victoria, like something she would wear. Not the colors. I mean, the guy doesn't look like Victoria, obviously, but those of you who have seen her around here would probably agree that's very much her style. But because her hair color changes so frequently, like right now it's kind of well, if you saw our Sunday picture, it's kind of a corally color. It was teal. It's been blue. It's been red. So we're going neutral. Plus all she wears is black and gray. So you start at the bottom. It does have a doubled hem that you, so you provisionally cast on, knit twice the hem you need, and then fold it over. Now I'm just knitting the body, which is like 8 or so inches of stockinette in the round with black yarn. But the good thing is the yarn is Universal's Cotton Supreme DK. So the black and the white are their solids, and then they have these, they're called Cotton Supreme Sea Spray. So that's what I used for the variegated one. Unfortunately, of course, that's something that's been discontinued because that's what happens when I make samples. But I think it'll be fun. And reading through the pattern, it looks like it's very well written. I'm going to look at some of his other patterns because it explains how you're picking up for the line for the hoodie really well. It explains how to modify for broader shoulders or narrower shoulders because it is a drop sleeve. I don't know if you could really tell. Well, yeah, where the stripes are is where you join the sleeve. So it's a drop sleeve, which is obviously going to fit different people differently. Melissa, I love her hair colors. Wish you could. Too cheap. Yeah. Well, she's been adventurous and just doing it all on her own. I take her to Sally's, I sit in the car, and she goes in and gets what she needs. And I never know what she's going to come out with. I am working a little bit on my Stillwater cardigan. I got the bottom ribbing done, which you can't really see because now I'm on the front collar, which goes all the way around. There is a lot of ribbing. In reality, I probably should rip it back and start ribbing here so it's not a ridiculous amount, but I'm not going to. Plus, I already committed now by picking up all of, I didn't count the stitches. I didn't want to count the stitches, but I have all of the stitches for the sides and the back on one big long needle. So this pattern, the Stillwater sweater, was Marie Green's first 4-day knit along, one that she challenged herself to knit, and then other people got involved in it too. Sometimes patterns won't tell you how many stitches to pick up along the edge because you're picking up all of these stitches along the front. All it said was pick up stitches evenly so you have a number that is divisible by 5 plus 3. So one thing, what does that mean? If you see a pattern that says your final number should be divisible by 5 plus 3, the pattern across is knit 3, purl 2. So 5 stitches, knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2. But you want to end with an additional knit 3. So any pattern that says plus an additional whatever, take that off. So it would be in multiples of 5. I had to do my stitch count and make sure that I got the right number. I think I was at 113 or 118. I don't know. I had to get to probably more than that, maybe 2. That's why I should keep better notes. But I picked up most of my stitches, went and counted them, and then took that number, subtracted 3 to see if that number was divisible by 5. If not, I would figure out, do I need to add a couple stitches? Do I need to take away a couple stitches to get to where I need to be? So slowly working on that. And let's see, I think those are the only things that I'm working on right now. Upcoming, I don't know. I have a pile of Dreaming Color in the shop colorway here, and I'm I'm thinking it would make a really cool ranunculus. I did get my shipment from Dreaming Color last week, and in there was the last of my custom color yarn. So I pulled a bunch because I want you to see what is typical and in my mind acceptable with a yarn like this. So it's a custom yarn, all the same colors, but depending on which batch and where the yarns were in the batch, you can see you get very different results. There we go. So these are all the Saginaw Sunset colorway on Smushy with Cashmere, dyed exclusively for the Little Yarn Shop. But some have this, some have this really, really bright orange. Some are just really light in color. I'm not sure how big, when I put a big order in, I'm not sure how big their batches are, but obviously if they're a technique like this where they're sprinkling dye, wherever the skein is in orientation to all the other skeins will determine whether it gets more or less color. But what I love about that is it would be easy, whoops, I lost my middle one. It would be easy to do some sort of fade and have it be the same colorway, but not the same color. I think two of those would make a fantastic ranunculus. So I have those in the store, and like I did mention a little bit when Diane was asking about the orange of Elaine's top, that cinnamon girl. So I do have all of the colors that were in my shawlography, which was the cinnamon girl, do re mi, bedtime, and black pearl. Chandra, yes, you need to make one. You won't have to make yours very long. So if you liked the colors of my shawlography, Stephen West shawl, and would like me to put a kit together for that, I could certainly do so. If you like the colors, but not necessarily are crazy about the pattern, we can find an alternate that still would feature all the same beautiful yarns. So that is, I'm looking at my notes here to see. Oh, a couple things before we start talking about Cyber Monday, Cyber Week. Deb tends, Thursday evenings, Deb has a group that that meets. They are not going to meet this Thursday. She did tell me she sent a text message out to most of the people that normally come, but I told her that I would mention it on here too. So she got tickets to go see Mannheim Steamroller, which is awesome. We've seen them a few times, and it's phenomenal. Definitely gets you in the spirit of Christmas. Lisa, you already have the Saginaw Sunset yarn, yes. Hi, Elaine, other Elaine. We have E and E, Elaine and Elaine M's. So notes on that. Yarn jail. I don't remember if I've talked about this before or not, or recently, but I do hold yarn for people if your project is active, if it's something you're working on and you need me to hold a skein until you're done. However, what we're finding is people don't finish projects for a few months, and then I end up having yarn that gets put back on the shelf that should have been put back on the shelf a long time ago. So there will be some modifications to yarn jail after the first of the year. If you have things in yarn jail, I did mention that because I said I was going to start calling people. If you have things in yarn jail, we need to go through those, make sure that everything in there is still something you want. Primarily, it was designed to help people with their budget a little bit. So if you needed 2 skeins of something and it wasn't in your budget for 2 skeins this week, I would be more than happy to hold one for the following week so you could come in and get it. I've just gotten pretty lax on that, so we need to, I need to rein it in a little bit. So let's talk about Cyber Monday, cyber deals. If you get my regular newsletter, which is not so regular because I end up sending like one a quarter, I sent one out a week or so ago to everybody on the email list. And in there, I offered for you to be added to a separate mailing list that's just for the cyber deals. So I didn't want to spam all of my email list with an email every day for the next 5 or so days. So I want that to be a whole separate list. If you are on that list, you would have gotten an email this afternoon. If you are not on that email list but want to be, probably the easiest way to do that is to send me an email to the shop at littleyarnshoppe@gmail.com. Shoot me a quick email from the email address you want added. You don't even have to put anything in the body of it. In the subject, you can just say, add me to the list, something like that. But the people that get the email are the first ones to know about what the deal is for the day. I'm alternating what time of day they're posting. Today was, Melissa beat me to it. So today I said you get to save over 30% on haiku concentric. All of these sales are going to be for things that are in stock only, no special orders. Tammy, people check email sometimes. Sometimes it's worth it to check emails. So the email went out right now. Right now it's not active to purchase on the website because I want to make sure that what we're talking about, you all have an opportunity to get. So concentric yarn is 100% baby alpaca. And it looks like the email is Little Yarn Shoppe, SHOPPE, @gmail.com. So you've seen probably yarns like this before that are a slow, oh, I popped one in there, a slow color change yarn. So depending on whether you pulled from the outside or the inside, it's got these 4 strands and it's designed that way where one strand changes color at a time and you get that slow transition. So Melissa just put the email address in the comments also, if you didn't catch what I was saying. So concentric, 100% baby alpaca, 200 grams, 400 meters, or about 437 yards of luscious baby alpaca. These have been fantastic for one skein shawl projects. It's big enough. This is from one skein. So it's a decent size shawl because it's like a doubly what you would normally get. So they are normally $49.99, $32.50 is what I'm selling them for as part of this deal. This is the boom shawl, a basic boomerang shaped shawl. It was written, I think, for hand spun yarn, but it's a formula basically. So you start and you just keep going until it's the length that you want. So colors, let's talk colors. This is the color Classically Trained. So if this is something you want to take advantage of, as I go through the colors, you can put in the comments to let us know what color you want, how many, and whether you need me to ship to you or if you're going to come into the store to pick things up. For these, if you'd like me, if I'm shipping things and you want me to hold it all until we're done, I'm happy to do that. So I have browns, I have pinks, I have rainbow, I have the neutrals, red and blue, just so you kind of have an idea of what's coming. That I've just added. Excellent. So again, the color that I used with mine is called Classically Trained. And I do have, I thought I had 4, but maybe I only have 3 of those. I have 3 of those in stock. I have Trixie, which is this Starts with a pink, goes to a dark gray, a pale pink, and then kind of a heathery light gray. I've had so many people make just these simple shawls out of it. You could do obviously something with 2 or 3. You can make a beautiful poncho or a top. So that color is called Trixie. Really, $32.50 for a big alpaca shawl is not a bad thing. Very good. Look at that one. All the good purpley tones. Burgundy, kind of this rose color, really pale. It's almost like a lavender pink in the middle. That's very good. And then let's see. Rainbows Beginning is what this one's called. So you've got the red, orange, yellow, and green, which I think is kind of neat. Rainbows Beginning. The last two, I only have one of each. So one is Shades of Brown. If you were a brown girl, if you got a brown winter jacket, this would be phenomenal for that. It's just really pale, tan to medium to dark, like a chocolate brown. And last is Thomas, which makes me think of Thomas the Train. I don't know if that's what it's named after, but makes me think of Thomas the Train. So this deep red on the outside, light gray, medium gray, and then this really dark navy. I don't know if my light is coming across or not, so you can see that navy, but I think it's beautiful. So those are the different colors. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different color choices available. While we're on the live, they are not for sale on the website. Once the live is done, they will go back active on the website for sales. So as soon as they're gone, they're gone. So again, each of them normally $49.99. Sale is $32.50. Knit, do you knit with both strands that are hanging out? It's actually 4 strands, Diane. So let me find one that's light enough to see. So like on this Rainbows Beginning, there are 4 strands, and each of them is applied yarn. So it's a 2-ply yarn. So there we go. 4 strands. You knit with all 4 of those strands together. The way you get that gradient is that one strand changes color at a time. So you start out with 4 green, then you'd have 3 green and 1 yellow, and then 2 yellow and 2 green, 3 yellow, 1 green, and then it slowly transitions. They are knotted between the colors, so that is to be expected, but that's part of what allows it to do what it does. Melissa is putting a whole bunch of patterns in there for other ideas. So again, I've got classically trained, the neutrals. That's what the sample was done out of, which is this beautiful, I mean, that will go with everything, grays and browns. I love that one. So classically trained, I've got a few of those. Trixie, the pinks and grays. I love that. I love that bright pink. Very good. Kind of the purpley pink burgundy colors. Rainbows Beginning. Shades of Brown. And well, I was going to say Thomas, but I only have one of those, and it looks like Elaine claimed that one. So I'm not surprised. I have certain ladies who like their reds and blues. Diane, did I cut the knots out? I don't believe I did. I think I just kept right on going, and the pattern's done on pretty big needles too. So you, let me see if I can find one. And yes, occasionally it does happen where, I don't know if you can see that one little strand sticking up there. Occasionally you might not catch all 4 strands. That's really the only thing you have to pay close attention to. I am going to say that I did not cut the knots. I just left them where they are. I trust them because this is how the yarn is designed. It's not like a regular break-in yarn where they spliced it back together. This is specifically designed to be knotted between colors. So that is the boom shawl, plus Melissa posted some other patterns. It looks like a few of the colors are disappearing, which is awesome. This is like a win-win. I feel like I get to treat you all to something a little bit special, and you all get really good yarn at a little bit of a discount. So heck yes, why not? Melissa's on top of that. That's awesome. Again, if you can kind of keep track of what's left. I think I have a brown and the rainbow, and maybe a classically trained. So my plan is to do something similar every day, where earlier in the day, I will send an email out to that separate email list. Later in the day, it will, and when I send the email out, it will have a link to purchase the product on our website. So if you don't get the email, you could kind of check midday on the website under yarn. You'll see specials throughout there. You'll see a yarn with a sale price on there if you don't get the email, or if you aren't good at sorting your email or checking your email. I'm not. Melissa said classically trained, shades of brown, and the rainbows beginning are available still. So later in the day, I will post on Facebook the same deal. And I'm going to be alternating what time of day that I'm doing it. I know I had asked a few of you before what your preference was, and I kind of got a multitude of answers. So I want to make sure that, oh no, Diane, you missed them. Let's see. So what's left? Classically trained, which is what my sample is done out of. Rainbows beginning. Shades of brown. And I'm not sure. So to start, I had 4 of the Very Good, 3 of the Trixie, and I know those were the ones that were going quicker. 3 of the Classically Trained, 2 of the Rainbow. Would it work for a night shift? I think Jenny's asking if it would work for a night shift, or if the color change was too slow. I don't think it would be too slow. It would just depend on what you wanted to hold with it. So Andrea Mowry's shift and night shift both alternate, use mosaic to create a pattern. I used to have it hanging up there, but I took it down to put my Christmas decorations up. You could use 2 skeins and pull one from the inside and one from the outside. There are a lot of striped shawls that would do something like that too. Can you still hear me okay? Can you hear me, Melissa?
earbuds are connected to too many phones. Okay, Julie said it would be great for the cable trellis or trellis triangle. Stephen West, new name two could be two different. Oh, Mom, I think you meant they're really soft. Oh, or you're talking about my voice. Hopefully I'm back on track. So let's see. Looking at all my notes. I am varying the types of sales that I'm having throughout the week. So some will be kits with you know, 2 or potentially 4 different colors put together for a project. Some will be like today where it's yarn and it's a good deal for the yarn, and we will have multiple options for pattern ideas. I'm going to try and do not a live video, but at least a video every day when I post on Facebook. I think you get to see a little bit more that way versus me just trying to take some pictures and put them out there. Yeah, so some of them will be kits. I think most of what I have lined up right now is for yarn. However, I may do some notions toward the end of the week. Okay, the girls are still saying my sound is low. Melissa, I know you don't want to, but can you take yourself off the mute? Let me see if I can hear you from my earbud.
I think you're a little lower than before, but we can still kind of hear you.
Hang on, see if I can hear. Can't hear anything. I'm sorry, you guys. Make sure I'm not. Yeah, sorry. I'm working on it. You can't hear me on this one now? It's trying to connect to my other phone.
Man, oh man.
That's better.
I think, there we go. Okay. Sorry. Picture froze, going out and coming back in. I'm just a mess. I'm a technical mess. I think we're back on track now. So, what was I saying? I'm going to try and I post at different times each day for the different deals. Most of them are, at this point, most of them are yarn. I may do some kits or something, or some notions, bigger things like Swifts and ball winders toward the end of the week. Typically I can, typically that's something that I have done in the past. I really don't know. I've got a few of the days planned, but I'm a morning thinker more than evening thinker. So tomorrow morning, that's my plan, is to work on this. This morning I should have, but instead I got a massage, which is self-care and much needed, especially if you knit a lot. Okay, so I'm looking around. I think we talked about Yarn Jail. We talked about Deb's group not meeting this week. Coming up, events at the marketplace, December 18th. I believe it's the 18th, whatever that Saturday is. Yes, they're hosting, they're calling it the Magical Day at the Market. So we did this, don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, maybe both, but the marketplace manager puts this event together, and it's we have princes and princesses throughout the marketplace. Little photo ops. There's no cost to bring your kiddo or grand kiddo into the market. So that's Saturday, December 18th. They'll have special, probably cookie decorating. I don't know what else they have planned, but it's usually a pretty fun time. Last year I tried to dress up. Whenever it was we did it last, I tried to dress up, but I don't do that for Halloween or for much of anything else either. I think that's it. I'm not sure what the hours are going to be for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. We haven't talked as a market to determine when we're going to be open and keep it all consistent. So as soon as I know that, I will let you all know that. The gift card sale is still going on. Those can be purchased through the website or by calling the shop or coming into the shop, obviously. So for every $50 in gift certificates, for every $50, you get a bonus $10 in fiber funds, which is a bonus money that to spend in January. So it's like Kohl's Cash. You don't have to buy individual $50 gift certificates. And yes, I have plenty of people buying them for themselves. Malcolm's asking if I'm an original tenant of SVRC. I am. So I have been here. I got to build out my space when we first opened. I came when I signed on. Most of the walls were not in this place. It still looked very much like a printing shop. It was kind of cool. But yes, the yarn store has been here from day one, which I love. I think it's awesome. There are a few of us that have been here all along. Making Bacon, Saigon Sandwich, Taste of Chicago, Purple Sage Beads, Those Nature People, Flowers by Roman, Falafel Hut. So all of us have been here the whole time. And we get the joy of seeing other small businesses come in and expand so much they have to go to their own space, or they realize this is not quite what they want to do and they move on. The bank. Yes, Frankenmuth Credit Union has been here since the beginning too. Although I jokingly said if the boardroom decided not to reopen, I'd take that space. I would love to take the Frankenmuth Credit Union space too. Initially, they were supposed to be in my shop. Then things shifted around right before I signed on. So that's kind of a fun little interesting thing. Maybe someday I'll pull up the pictures and post some of the photos of just big empty spaces. It was kind of cool. So I think that's it now for real. Oh, I was talking about gift certificates. So you don't have to buy individual $50 gift certificates. If you want to treat yourself to a $200 gift certificate, you can do that in one big chunk and get $40 worth of fiber funds. In addition to that, send your loved ones in to buy gift certificates for you. Our standard Little Yarn Shop certificates don't ever expire. So if you don't have anything in mind to use it for right now, that's okay. If you just want to treat yourself and know you're going to spend the money in here, so why not take advantage of it? I don't blame you a bit. You wouldn't be the only one. Okay, I will see. Oh, Melissa just posted a link to be able to order them online too, of course. I will see all of you, if not in the shop sometime this week, next Monday, right here. It's going to be December. I can't believe it. Christmas is like less than a month away. I'm gonna have some ideas for some quick knits too. You'll see those coming up. So I hope everybody has a good week. I hope you're inspired to start something, finish something, just keep on creating and don't stop. I will talk to you all next Monday. Have a good week.